In 2010, my family and I experienced a horrific house fire. I was in 8th grade at the time, and it was during November, right after Thanksgiving. And my family went to bed that night upstairs in their bedrooms, and I fell asleep by the wood-burning stove in our living room. And at about 1 in the morning, I woke up because I was extremely hot. So I took my blanket off, I ran upstairs and to climb back in my warm bed. And about an hour and a half later, we were woken up by the fire alarms, and my mom frantically was running around the house trying to figure out what was on fire because it was extremely warm in the house, and she kept touching the walls and she could feel the heat just bouncing off of the walls. And so my parents opened up all the windows to let the smoke out, and during this whole thing I was still sleeping in my bed, and once the smoke went out of the windows and escaped the house fell silent and the smoke alarms went off, and that's when I heard the crackling of the fire behind my head between the walls and the rafters falling. So my mom and my brother and I ran over to my neighbor's house through the woods to call the fire department, and a couple minutes later, about 7 fire trucks showed up on our front lawn. So as I watched the firemen try to put out the fire, I looked out my neighbor's front window and I noticed that within a matter of 20 minutes of us escaping the house, that the roof above my bedroom ignited into flames. And at that moment, I really realized that we were very close to death, and my family and I were very lucky. That following morning, my community really stepped up, and we experienced a sense of community that morning, and they brought us clothes and food to try to make us as comfortable as we can, and they gave us their houses to sleep in. About a year and a half after the fire, my family and I were able to move back into the same house location after it was rebuilt. It was a little strange at first because they had to tear down our old house with bulldozers and literally rebuild a new home on top of the same property. After this entire event, my family and I honestly learned the importance of family, and life is not about the material objects in our life. It's more about the people who surround us and who love us and who we spend the most time with, because family is definitely the most important thing.